And good morning, good evening. Hello to everyone. Welcome to the final episode, our wrap up episode of the T20 World Cup 2026 here on Sportycast. The show is called Six and Out, and I'm joined as always, consistently being here with me throughout the World Cup is Khalid Mohidin of Cricket Fanatics Magazine. Khalid, how's it going, my man? You okay?
Yeah, emphasis on out. Because wow, like this tournament really was a shocker to me in a way because the worst part about the Proteas is when they give you hope and then you
Yeah,
believe and then they crush you. But this time it felt different for me. Like I said on previous shows, I said it just felt different. The team looked hungrier. They looked like they were going to get over the line this time. And
yeah,
then in the wrong game, we chose the wrong game to have the worst performance that we possibly could have. So
yeah,
yeah, I don't know what happened there. I think Coach Shukri is also trying to
yeah,
understand what is going on. I don't know
yeah,
if you guys saw his press conference at all and what he said.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
We're gonna bring
exactly.
that in. We're gonna bring that in a bit later, where we
Yeah.
can have a proper, uh, I would say, pity party, I guess, or a debrief, if you want to call it that. But we're gonna try and start somewhere a bit more positive. Well, not for us as South Africans, but for the obviously the Indian fans who won the World Cup. So just to go through the running order for today, we'll keep it simple. We'll just touch on the final that happened yesterday. India beating New Zealand. I want to say as expected, but I hope I don't get too much backlash for that. Then we're going to look at that semi-final loss of the Proteas versus New Zealand. See how we feel about it, all these days later. And then at the end, we are going to move into how the Proteas did overall in the World Cup and where to next for them in this specific format. So we got a decent amount to get through, but let's just start with that final yesterday. I almost feel like you didn't watch it. I think you might have given it a pass, or did you actually do a hate watch in there and hope that the game gets rained out or both teams lose or something?
I watched part of it. I had some family obligations that I needed to take care of, but because the only reason is because we weren't in the final, so I made sure that I finished it yesterday. But I did.
Yeah.
I watched part of it. I didn't watch all of it. I didn't get to see the chase. I was too busy organizing stuff and picking up people, whatever.
Hey, look, I think
So
New Zealand missed the chase as well, eh?
yeah, definitely. Like you don't know when I see that now,
Yeah,
that makes me
yeah,
feel even worse, man. Because
100%.
it was definitely the wrong team in the final. Like
Yeah,
we would have given India a much harder game at that park at that stadium. We had a better team
yeah,
equipped for that final than New Zealand. I
yeah,
mean, for him to not turn up like that in a final is crazy. And
yeah,
that was more hurtful when I saw the score on the board that India posted. When I saw that total, I already said this is the game. India's World Cup.
yeah.
So because I knew that on that ground we scoring 255 or whatever they scored, it's that's
That's
like
ridiculous, bro.
that's way too much to chase down.
Yeah.
So
No, they were
good for them.
completely overwhelmed. India's been
Good for
playing
them
like this
because
all
I
the way
mean
through.
it was their lives on the line. You can't lose
Yeah,
a World Cup if you in India and you're from India. So
yeah. Yeah, so a good win for them. Obviously, a bit of a dull match for the neutral to watch as a final of the World Cup or that big score. You're always hoping that they are going to be able to put up a fight, but after an initial flurry from the two openers, it just went downhill from there. And then I think it was 76 for 5 at one point, and it was well beyond their reach. But India have been playing that high risk, high octane cricket, and the biggest thing they did was adjustment they made was bringing Sanju Samson back into
I
the
was gonna
lineup,
say that.
and that was just the catalyst for everything. Especially after that loss against South Africa, was a bit off balance. And I think yesterday, if you be fair to them and give them credit for the good things they've done, they sent the right guys in at the right times. Even though there was that cluster of wickets in the middle, I mean, Jimmy Neesham taking a couple of wickets there in the middle where they sent in some guys to hit or to keep that run rate going, and the captain Surya Kumar Yadav came in a bit later. It did end up working out for them anyway. So they figured it out. They realized that they can't restrict teams, so they might as well go out guns blazing and outscore everyone. We saw that in the semi-final against England, where they almost lost. I mean, they won by 7 runs, Jacob Bethel really made them sweat because the bowling just hasn't been on fire, other than obviously Bumrah and Arshdeep who did well. So in the end, you could say worthy winners. Like you're saying, it does sting a little because of how we beat them, right? And knowing that we could have been more competitive coming up against them, it would have been, like you say, a much better final. But it is what it is, and that's the end of the T20 World Cup. Just to go through some quick stats from the World Cup, we saw the top run scorer coming from Pakistan, SAvsNZ. He was phenomenal, 383 runs in 6 innings. Interesting to see how he kicks on in international cricket because we know Pakistan find ways to sabotage things and they're sitting with a good talent. Let's see if they can keep him going. Tim Seifert got 326 runs. He's in second place, and then third place on the run scoring charts was Sanju Samson, and it only took him 5 innings. He really carried them through that last period. So telling that there's no South Africans in there, even though we did start fairly well. But we're going to come on to that a bit later. We will go through the team's performances in a bit more detail. So anything from the batting that stands out for you, Khalid, before we move to the bowlers?
Um, I wouldn't necessarily. I think that these pitches that they prepared, I mean, and the grounds that they picked, they really went into this tournament saying we want to see big scores on
Yeah,
the board.
yeah,
I mean, that was the mentality of this World Cup. I think they marketed it from that perspective. It was a good marketing ploy for cricket
yeah,
around the world because, uh, I mean, to get other people other than Indians interested in the sport, particularly new cricket followers, you have to give
yeah,
them something to cheer about and enjoy. So I think that having so much runs, so much sixes, so much high octane cricket, as you mentioned earlier, it's it would be good for the game, for the publicity of the game as well around the world.
yeah,
So the batters performed. They came through and they did impress. I mean, for a long time throughout this tournament, it was Aiden in
yeah,
that top in the top wickets, in top run scorers, etc. But
yeah,
unfortunately, um, we were out. So of the World Cup at the wrong time. So, but I was very impressed with majority of the guys that came and they performed, and they all. What interested me the most was the strike rates of most of the batters
yeah,
were 150 plus, 160,
yeah,
190, 200 strike rates, etc. So
yeah,
the strike rates were good. It was T20 batting was at its best during this World Cup. I think that was a good advocate for T20 cricket, I
yeah,
think, to the world, especially also, as you know, with the smaller teams also performing and guys from the
yeah.
smaller nations also stepping up.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a good point to make on the strike rates. Just looking at it quickly, Sanju Samson was second with a strike rate of 199.37. And he finished third on the run scoring chart. So he did it at a high clip. Finn Allen, highest strike rate of the tournament at 200 on the dot. So guys were going hard. And yeah, it's good to see. It makes it more interesting. The Pakistani batter, I think he played a lot of his games in Sri Lanka, so that's another thing
Mm.
where he scored his runs in maybe a bit more trying conditions than the Indian grounds, but still, that strike rate is phenomenal. Looking at the wicket takers, obviously it tends to get skewed by the amount of games you play, right? So you got Bumrah and Varun Chakravarti who both ended the tournament on 14 wickets. Economies weren't that great in comparison to some of the higher ones or lower ones in the tournament, but Bumrah was hard to score throughout. Varun had a couple of off games, but he kept on picking up wickets because they're going to try and hit him, right? And it just worked out that way for him. And then the most notable here on the bowling list is Shadley van Schalkwyk on 13 wickets in 4 games. It's half the games that the others played to get their 14. He's got 13 in 4. So flying the flag high for associate cricket. We could also say we have a South African in there in the mix at least, you know. But he was phenomenal. One of the stories of the tournament. But yeah, other than that, I think nothing too surprising from the bowlers. And like you said, with the batters, the runs were flying, so the bowlers were all struggling at some point. Spinners didn't really do much the entire World
Mhm.
Cup. I know Varun was in the top wicket takers, but the ball wasn't turning as much. So what we ended up seeing was just bowlers getting smashed quite often. So yeah, a tough one for the bowlers, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was, and it goes back to that point of the type of wickets that they prepared. They knew
Yeah,
that this is going to be the case, and also I think in low key or dependable on how you want to look at it.
yeah,
India India knows that if they made spinning tracks, their batters will also struggle because they haven't been the
yeah,
best against spin over the last couple of years either.
100%.
So I think that especially if they're coming up against a smarter type of bowler that tries to um, utilize utilize the lines and lengths and angles rather than fully on a spinning wicket,
Yeah,
misleading them into thinking it's going to spin. So
yeah,
the Bumrah was just phenomenal. I mean, this guy's world class already. So
yeah,
I mean, and his economy was decent. I mean, on these wickets that are batting friendly
yeah,
with regards to that. I mean, he bowled really well throughout the tournament, I think, and he's very difficult to because the thing about him is that he comes in at match defining moments and he just seals the game down. He just closes like your belief that you can get
yeah,
anywhere to a score that you want, or when it comes to when they bowling with second, then obviously taking the wickets at the correct time to slow down your whole innings. He just takes all your
yeah,
dreams away. So he's the type of guy that does that. But there's another bowler I want to just up on and mention from your team, from your favorite team. I think he was impressive as well as Muzarabani from Zimbabwe.
yeah, yeah.
I
No,
was really impressed
he's
with
really
the
good.
yeah, I was really impressed with him throughout the tournament as well, and the games that I did watch him play. Maybe I was lucky, and that's the games that I saw he played well, but I was impressed with him. To be there in the top wicket takers in a tournament and only playing 6 games, not even playing maximum games, to be there in the
Yeah,
top wickets. Similarly to Van Schalkwyk as well, but I
yeah,
think Muzrabani showed a lot of more consistency, I would say, than Van Schalkwyk, because I mean, most of his wickets came in like one game. So,
yeah,
so like that's the thing that you hope for. But I mean, um, similarly to Muzrabani as well. I mean, a top to get a good performance in one game is
yeah.
also is always going to push up your
Yeah, so
wicket
maybe
taking tally.
he's going to be someone we need to watch because he needs more opportunities in the leagues. So I know he plays in the ILT20. He plays for one of the teams here, I think the Gulf Giants, and they rate him quite highly. They retain him a couple of seasons now. It's just to see can he get picked up in some of the other leagues
Yeah,
more, especially develop his batting also a little bit because he's
yeah.
known as all rounder. So let's see how his game develops. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him in more leagues going forward. But yeah, he's really good. He's figured out the lengths, man, that work for his height
Mm.
and so on, which is fantastic.
But you know how India works. I mean, you play a tournament in India, they pick you up. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
it happened with Deva Brevis when he played the Under 19 World Cup. He played against India
yeah,
in a match. Everybody's eyes was on it. He scored a massive score against them, picked up in the IPL. So hopefully this is an opportunity for him because I would love that for him. You know,
yeah,
for a guy from Zimbabwe to be able to pick up a big contract like that, it will be amazing for Zimbabwe cricket,
yeah.
not only for him
Yeah, I think
personally.
he'll definitely come in now if there's any injury replacements, whatever he'll be in. But he'll definitely play IPL or PSL. I'm fairly confident that he'll find a spot in one of those teams because the IPL the teams are set already, so they have to come in as a replacement.
Hmm.
But the PSL, yeah, I think with the PSL also it's all set. So if maybe he has one, I'd have to check. But yeah, one to watch definitely going forward. Now we have to make our way onto the unfortunate discussion of what happened in that semi-final. Obviously, watching your review, live reaction after the game, it was uh, very dark. You know, a lot of rage in the comments and obviously the disappointment because we went 7 from 7, and then like you said earlier, and I was thinking it as well. We just played our worst game at the wrong possible time, and it's hard to go too deep into it because if you look at everything we did before that game, it was all working. So you wouldn't necessarily change anything in a knockout game. It literally comes down to maybe just mentality, execution, and then like you mentioned, and a lot of people have mentioned, the toss did play a massive role in the game, with both teams having not played there before. So it did help. I thought the toss was probably about 30% of the result was hinged on the toss, and the rest of it was up to your performance. But we're about what 5 days out since that. Are you feeling any different to how you felt in the aftermath, or are you still feeling as bad as you felt when the game happened?
Yeah, I don't feel. I wouldn't say I feel as bad. I mean, I've had time to think about it, and process everything. It's I just don't understand where it came from, that performance.
Yeah,
Like I don't understand where that suddenly came from, because I thought that, you know, these players, there's no excuses for them, and like Coach Shukri did say, there's no
yeah,
excuses for them, because I mean, they've played in the IPL, they know these conditions. That we had a series, okay, no, maybe not also playing at this ground, but I mean, I can't remember if we did, but I know that we played a series in India before, so we've had
yeah,
enough time to settle in. Normally, before in previous tournaments, we were kind of rushed into the tournament, didn't have much time to
yeah,
prepare or get familiar with conditions. Here we have no
yeah,
excuse. We had plenty of time to get familiar with conditions. We had a series before the tournament. We didn't travel as much as we normally do in tournaments. Sometimes we get a bit unlucky there. Um, it's more the application was poor
yeah,
than New Zealand being great. I would say
yeah,
that's how I saw it. I mean, because you can't bet like like that. Your top order has to perform in a semi-final. It's just a must. And I was particularly irritated with our senior players, Quinton de Kock,
yes,
David
yes,
Warner. Them particularly, I was, because this could possibly be their last World Cup. I mean, don't you just throw
yeah,
everything on the line and try to, I know they're not playing to try and lose. It's just
yeah,
that I don't like losing, when it seems like there was no effort. I would
yeah,
rather want to lose when we fighting till the end.
yeah,
That's how I would prefer to lose a match, of course, and not get
yeah.
obliterated like we did.
Yeah, and
So
I think to just elaborate on the point you're making about the top order there, right? And you mentioned the word application, and it's not that there was no effort. There was effort, but the effort lacked the application, and that is the big issue. Like for me, the biggest part, obviously, it's easy to say because it's the first over of the game or the second over, but how do you let the off spinner do that to you? You know what I mean? Like Cole McConkey, decent player, and he literally bowled one over in the game. And the whole point of him bowling was to get the cock out, and not on a technical thing. It was all mental. The same way that we use Aiden Markram. I think it was it against India, where we used Aiden Markram to open the bowling. One of the teams we used, yeah, it was against India, where Aiden Markram just to get Kishan out because no matter what, he was going to swing. And it's the same thing that the cock did. And the shot he played before,
fell for it.
he just cleared the infield, right? And it wasn't a great shot. He cleared the infield. Then he tried to do it again. And it's like, bro, you just did it. You do not see the outcome. And then you go do the same shot again or similar shot and you get caught in the exact same place. And then with Rickleton, I got the feeling like he was in between things. Like, should I slap this ball hard, smash it, or should I just try and stroke it? And in that indecision, he just ended up giving catching practice to backward point, and suddenly you two down to a off spinner who is literally only in the team to take advantage of the mental aspect, right, or the matchup, as they say, which I thought our guy should have been better against the matchup, or application should have been better, knowing they like the pace, to see the guy out, right? Or whatever. But hey, that bothered me. And then, like you're saying with Miller, his application in such a crunch game was disappointing. But I got messages from people like saying, "See, I told you. See, I told you." One of my friends, he's onto it. He told me that before the game. Actually, Miller won't score in this one, but it sucks when the people are right.
Yeah, what my irritation more was is that Coach Shukri has been coaching these players or preparing them for getting ready for or being able to analyze conditions. and then applying the game
Yeah.
accordingly, adapting the game accordingly. I don't get it when you have a senior player like Quinton de Kock at the wicket, and then you've got Aiden Markram, who I felt understood the conditions. I don't think he was
Yes.
out. I re-looked
Yeah.
at
Yeah. Yeah.
those videos
Yeah.
currently over and over again.
Yeah.
But the the understanding of the conditions would have determined how they approach it. And if they did
Yes.
approach it with a more with a more cautious more cautious way, because sometimes in T20 cricket you have to play a little bit more cautiously. You don't have to come out smack bang and slap every single
Yeah.
delivery.
Yeah.
Like you were explaining about the way Quinton de Kock lost his wicket.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was my biggest gripe with the team was that it was the
Yes.
application.
Yeah.
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 And
And to not to hop on the point too much there, but when you know that a guy's coming in for you just from a mental aspect, right? There's nothing about conditions. It's not that it was turning or anything. It was just, can I make you hit me? And we fell for the trap, which is disappointing because you use the same trap against other people, right? Like you,
yeah,
let me try and buy a wicket here or whatever, and they successfully did that. I think there's nothing to talk about with regards to the bowling. It was just we tried, and Finn Allen came out and he had the best innings he's ever gonna
yeah,
have. I don't think
yeah.
he'll bat like that again in his entire life. And we just ran into a buzzsaw. And it's a funny thing about cricket is when these things happen, it kind of snowballs, right? And one guy gets hit, and the batter goes on a run. Then the next guy bowls and he can't get it right, boom, and the boundaries just keep flowing.
It's like almost like it was written in
And
the
we couldn't
stars,
pull it
man.
back.
It was
Yeah,
like written in the stars because, like, even if you watch the way we started our bowling, how many times did the ball just miss the outer ring, the inner
yeah,
ring, like, and
yeah,
how many edges went to the boundary, and like it was just not the luck wasn't on our side
yeah,
with the ball,
yeah.
but
That's why I
it's all
wasn't
because
too
that
stressed.
it's almost like we were punished for the how crap we batted, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Karma. It's like karma.
yeah,
Like, listen,
come.
you guys are not escaping here. That batting
But the
was not
thing,
good enough. I know you got to 170, but no, 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 no,
But
no,
that's
no.
because of Marco Jansen. I mean,
Exactly.
clearly that guy's mentality, really honest, I've been speaking about it for years. The boy's
Yeah,
mentality is remarkable. Now, consistency with mentality like that is not going to always be the case. I think there are
yeah,
sometimes when the nerves hit him. But my thing also about Quinny, sorry, one more thing about Quinny, my
yeah,
gripe is mainly with him is he, everybody knows and everybody spoke about it that that's how he goes out to the off
yes,
spinner. Everybody knows it,
yeah,
including him then. So how do you
yeah,
fall for the trap like so naively? It's not like you are a youngster like Deva Brevis that
yeah,
doesn't that can't see it coming or doesn't understand that it's
yeah,
gonna be coming. You know this is coming. You can see it coming.
yeah,
Also, you don't face the first ball. So
yeah,
you know you have plenty of time to see, oh, who's coming into bowl now? They are trying to
yes,
set me up here, and then you still fall for the
yeah,
bloody trap. So that's what irritated me
yeah.
with regard
Now,
to that.
in that case, right? Look, obviously, I don't know what's going on specifically, but generally, in a case like that, it's not necessarily just a straight on assessment of the situation. It's an ego thing. It's like, oh, so they think they're gonna bowl this guy, and I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna show them.
Show
Then
them.
you try and
Yeah,
out hit them.
it came
And
across like that.
as a
It came
bowler,
across
I
like
promise you, and as a captain, I've captained a lot of teams. As a captain and a coach, even, I always think of that angle. Like, look, we know how good that player is, but let's not worry about his skill and his ability. How else can we get him out? Can we tempt him? Can we push him? Can we tell him,
and Rob
look,
knew that.
I'm gonna
Rob
leave
knew.
that area open. There's a gap there. Show me you hit the ball there.
Yeah,
But we're gonna
Rob
bowl so that
Walton
you hit
knew
it
that.
somewhere else.
And what hurt me the most actually about this whole thing. I was sitting here and I'm like, we let Rob Walter beat us, man, in the semi-final. This fraud. I'm like, this guy came into South African cricket now and didn't have a clue on what to do. He didn't have a clue about our domestic system, didn't have a clue about talent pool. We bring in someone that understands it, and then you lose to Rob Walter, man. Like that, you know that this guy understands all your weaknesses.
Yes,
He
yes,
understands your players and what. So prepare for that. Like
yeah,
know that he's gonna come with that. He's gonna try and
yeah,
you could see it from a mile away that he was that he this was planned. They had a
yeah,
strategy and they implemented this plan exactly to
yeah,
perfection. And we fell
yeah,
for it, fell for it, fell for it. It wasn't like a like okay, let's switch it up. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
for example, I'll give you an example that maybe correlates. I watched the dots yesterday, right? So
Yeah.
like I saw the highlights of the dots. Like when you see a final like that, um, look at the best player in the world, and then you see
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
that's playing. Wade plays against him. He was trying a tactic to slow it down because he knows he's going to frustrate Lidler.
Yeah.
Didn't work. He didn't pivot, right? So
Yeah.
that's how. But he still kept himself in the match because his plan was working, but then he didn't switch in time and then he lost. But the same thing was
Yeah.
over here. Like, they're gonna try this nonsense against you. It's Rob
Yeah.
Walter. He understands the South Africans in and out. He was with you in the squads,
Yeah.
and like, why to him, man? That's what hurt me the most, is like, to him.
Yeah. Nah,
Yo,
it's one of those things, man. But I think let's try and come out from this ditch that we've dug ourselves into, and just try and look at some of the good things that
yeah,
came from this World Cup. So for me, obviously, I look at the run scoring charts. We had three batters who scored over 200 runs. Markram on 286, so very close to 300. We had Rickleton with 228 and Brevis with 204, 207, sorry. So fairly good in that regard. We had a couple of guys step up. We shared the runs because the Cock got 181, Miller got 174. So we did spread it, and we won some games comfortably. So the middle order didn't get that opportunity as much. But overall, I think that top six together, if you take out the semi-final, I think they complemented each other well, and the unit worked. Especially, I like the combos we had. We had a couple of left-handers, right-hander in the mix there, with the top three. Then the next group is two right-handers and a lefty. So there was nice balance there. And the top six did fairly well, again, if you don't count the last game. Just from the batting perspective, how did you feel that unit went overall?
um first and foremost, I would like a reset with regards to Connie needs to go, David needs to go. It's time,
No,
man.
no, no. We're gonna come to that. We're gonna come to that, right?
Oh, we're gonna come
Um,
to that.
we're
Oh,
gonna come to
sorry.
that. So just put a
Spoiler
pin
alert.
in that one. Don't go. Get out of the ditch, bro. I'm telling you, we dug this hole. Let's get out a little, and then we'll dig another one for the
Okay.
future, right? So just
So I
yeah,
think
just
the
tell me
I
quickly.
think the batting. I think I thought they did okay. They did well
Yeah,
throughout the tournament. They were consistent enough. Well, in the power plays, I thought the power plays were good, even though it wasn't.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was Aiden that was leading the way. I think that's a very positive thing that Aiden, as an opener, is starting to find his
Yes,
space. I think that is amazing. I think this was brilliant tournament for Deva Brevis' learning perspective.
agreed.
For at the
Yeah,
age that he's at, to be able to play a tournament like this and not play at his best, I think it's going to be an unbelievable learning curve for him. He's only going to get better from this and stronger from this. I think.
yeah,
I think his confidence is going to shoot up with regards to IPL. It's going to shoot up with regards to every single tournament he plays in now after this World Cup campaign. And I'm so happy that Coach Shukri stuck with him, because it would be easy just to
yes,
sub out the youngster and say, let's just put one of our other guys in, like Jason Smith or whatever,
yeah,
who's on the bench. So I'm happy about that. I think Deva got what he needed. I think they need to kind of think about how they're going to build a team around him in the future.
yeah,
I think Ryan Rickleton, given the circumstances coming in so late, to be put into the team, I think he performed well, bar the semi-final,
yeah,
but I think he performed really well as an anchor in that three. I was disappointed with David throughout the tournament. I didn't think he came to the party. And then Tristan Stubbs showed flashes, but
yes, yes,
I believe that Tristan is. I've never believed that Tristan was a finisher. I've always believed
yes,
that he's too talented as a batter to be
yeah,
applied as a finisher. It's almost like they
yeah.
found a place just to fit him into the team. So
Yes,
I think
and
that needs
to
to change.
back up that
But
sentiment you
but
have,
also,
his strike rate was 135 as a finisher. So
yeah,
it does back up what you're saying. Maybe that's not the role for him.
yeah,
And just looking at the strike rates quickly, Rickleton had the highest with 170. Markram was in the 160s. Marco Jansen was in the 160s. Brevis was actually below 150, which I find quite surprising. But again, he had to come in and do some rebuilds from time to time.
yeah.
But
Most of his
overall, I
innings.
think if I agree with you, I think that finisher slot probably, which we'll discuss a bit later, but they probably need some work. But overall, I mean, at the end of the day, if I put the question to you like this, would you have changed anything in that batting lineup going into the semi-final? Answer
No,
is probably no, right? Exactly.
no.
So I think they pretty much did a fairly good job, and like they just didn't come to the party in that last game. Moving on to the bowlers, looking at it, we had Lungi and Gidi take 12 wickets. We had Bosch with 11, Marco Jansen with 11. So they shared the wickets between those three seamers fairly well. Economy is also pretty good. We have Ngidi with a 7.1, Bosch with 7.6, and Jansen was very expensive, 10.4. So he was a bit more attacking in his bowling, trying to look for those wickets, but at the cost of his economy. Obviously, Rabada was a bit disappointing overall. Economy over 8, only 5 wickets, and then we didn't get much from our spin bowling department. Both had economies north of 7.5, and they only picked up 3 wickets for Linda and 5 for Maharaj. So maybe an area where we need to look at, when we discuss it a bit later. But overall, I think as a unit, the bowlers did put up their hands and they did perform fairly well. But I was specifically impressed with Ngidi and Corbin Bosch.
Yeah, the implementation of the plans that they had, like this time around, compared to what I saw in the last T20 World Cup, I actually saw a plan here.
Yes.
There were
Yeah.
plans that were implemented, but also not only just plans that were implemented. The Markram could call on to players to take him out of trouble if he was struggling, if the plan wasn't working.
Yeah. There
And
was
I
a
think,
confidence in him that he had
yeah,
in those players to deliver when he needed it.
yeah. So even that was something where I saw in other World Cups prior, South Africa tends to like what I saw. It's almost like they have a cheat sheet and they just follow that cheat sheet to the T. If
Yeah.
it's going wrong, if it's going right, they just like
Yo,
they
it's
just
a,
stick to that
it's a
list.
template.
A template, yeah, not cheat sheet. I'm
Yo.
doing it wrong. It's a template, yeah, and they just stick to that no matter if it's going right,
Yeah.
going wrong, whatever. Whereas this, I saw, okay, wait, you're not doing it for me. Let me bring on my
Yeah.
controllers in this particular instance. But I'm just so happy for Lungi because the amount of
Yeah.
abuse that guy gets. I mean, for years he's been getting abuse.
Yeah.
So I'm just very, very happy for him and the way he performed. He deserves it because particularly in this format, he puts a hell of a lot of work in to be as economical as he is, to work on that slower delivery, to
Yeah.
work on his lands and lengths, etc. I mean, his body hasn't really worked with him with regards to longer formats cricket. He's always picking up
Yeah.
niggles and things, but in this format, I mean, he is world class in my opinion.
Yeah.
Particularly,
For sure.
and what's brilliant about it is he's found ways now to to bowl in all different types of conditions. That's what's made him
Yeah.
even better. Whereas before, he used to rely on wickets that are maybe a little bit slower, and then rely on his lines and angling the ball in, bowling length delivery. So I'm very happy with the bowling attack. I think as a unit they bowled well, and the fact that we could put out the bowling unit like we did, knowing
Yeah.
how many bowlers were left at home that could possibly be in this team
Yes.
and on the bench. Othniel
Yeah.
Bachman, Nandre Berger. There's guys there that could have
Yeah.
come in and could have been a part of this team. Um, and spin is the problem. South African cricket
Yeah.
in general, they aren't great spinners
Yeah.
around in domestic cricket, and that's the problem. We're not producing them. We
Yeah.
have to pull out like one of the best spinners in domestic cricket this season. Um, we had to pull him out of Western Province. Had to pull him out of club cricket. Josh Breed. So
Yeah.
there's and he's impressed because now suddenly people are playing against him and he's a wrist spinner on top of it. So there's a bit of a
Yes.
so there's
Yeah.
a
We
bit of
need
a
that.
yeah, there's a so they're not unfamiliar with him. So he's gonna
Yeah.
do well. So there's something that South African cricket needs to do when it comes to producing spin bowlers because
Yeah.
we're gonna need it. We do have a couple of guys knocking on the door that maybe could replace like for like. Like I think
Yeah.
that's why we're lucky. It's like I think we've got almost like a like for like replacement for
There's
Maharaj.
depth here.
Yeah, there's depth. There's like a like for like replacement for Maharaj. I think he's waiting to come into the mix. He has a good
Yeah.
mentality. He's a great human being. He's a good cricketer. Then you've got like You got extra. You got a like for like in from a bowling department. Similarly, I think for George as well, but just minus the batting ability.
Yeah.
Um, but the amount of left arm orthodox spinners that South Africa produces madness. Most of our spinners are left arm orthodox. We don't produce a lot
Yeah.
of off spinners, and we don't produce a lot of wrist spinners. So we need to sort that out somehow. But I think
Yeah.
our bowling in general in the country is strong at the moment.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think that there was a bit more dynamism with the way the bowlers were implemented. We didn't follow that set plan, this guy's going to bowl this over no matter what. So I did like that. And just to put a bow on the World Cup in general, I think overall plans were good. The selections were spot on. I think there's very little for us to nail
Criticize.
them on, other than the application in that semi-final. And other than that, I think that overall it was a good thing. And going forward, it looks like the right coach is involved. The right coach is there to take the team forward. And speaking of going forward, I think we'll just carry on with the bowling tangent because we are on it at the moment. Going forward, what do you think that bowling group is going to look like? How many of these guys stay in this group? And obviously, who are the guys on the outside? You did mention a couple of guys who are in line or like for like. Like I'm assuming a guy like Siniran Mutusami is someone that would be considered, for a team like this. You need a wrist spinner. We need to find the wrist spinner, wherever it is, wherever they're going to come from. And then with wrist spin, we can also work to develop brevis. Why can't he give 2 overs of that wrist spin? We saw Ryan Ball do it successfully for Zimbabwe. Not to keep bringing Zim into the chat. But if you can develop that, you just need 2 overs that you're able to put out there if needed. So just tell me a bit more about what's on the frontier for the spinners. Who can we bring in? And then transition to the pace bowlers.
Yeah, you see, George, for example, is not a very big spinner of the ball.
Yeah.
He doesn't spin the ball that much, and there's a similar bowler like him, Bjorn Fortuin, doesn't spin the ball that
Yes.
much, but he's a smart bowler. So that's another player that's there on the. He's been in and out of the
Yeah.
T20
Yeah.
sides, etc. We've been messing around with a lot of left arm orthodox. You mentioned Sen Mutasami, that's who I was talking about as a replacement for Keshav. I
Yeah.
think mentally, the amount of time Keshav also spent with Senaran when Senaran was still at the Dolphins, they know each other
Yeah.
very well. He helped develop his mentality. I mean, he learned a lot from Keshi. We speak to Sen, he will tell
Yeah.
you that. It's like you said, it's the wrist spinners that is the problem. And Deva Brevis learning is not a bad shout at all. I think it would be great for him because I think it also will be good for his confidence.
Yeah.
Because when he doesn't perform well with the bat, then he can perform with the ball. He can to bring up his confidence. So and to keep him going. And he's still young enough, to be able to develop that
Yeah.
skill to a level that is actually of decent quality. He might find a little lane for himself where he can truly be dominant with the bat and then also be effective with the
Yeah.
ball because
Yeah.
you'll either find guys that are in between, one game they bowl well, one game they bat well, etc. And they might be great, very great batters, but this okay bowlers, like almost like Aiden. And then you'll get like
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
that are really good bowlers but can bat a bit. It's very seldom that you find guys that are extremely good with a bat and then also can bullying it with a ball equally. So even if
Yeah.
you are going to play a role, even those 2 matches you can get, even those 2 wicket overs that you bowl, if you can get 1 wicket or be or that's all you need to be able to
Yeah.
do to really
Yes. You
to
need to be
have an
able to
impact.
be deployed as like a weapon. Look, you can break a partnership for us. Oh, the wicket's turning. Let me give the ball to Brevis because pace isn't the option here. Just to give that option with confidence. Like I think in that middle order, Stubbs doesn't have that cachet with Markram, but a guy like Donovan Ferreira would have bowled a lot more had he been playing because that was the plan, right? He would have been bowling a lot more overs to support the bowling unit. So if you can add overs, I guess that's fine. But I'm also looking for a frontline spinner.
Me
Who
too,
can
yeah.
who can we deploy as a lead spinner like Adil Rashid, Adam Zampa, the teams that have a frontline spinner, even if it's a mystery spinner, which I know we don't really have that much going around in SA, or if there are any. But maybe there's opportunity for someone to come through who can bowl these carom balls and all these different types of balls, like Sikandar Raza as well.
Yeah. I'm myself looking. I think coaches are looking all around the country. I mean,
Yeah,
like it's been a proper struggle when it comes to these players because I don't know if it's. I think it's got to do with the school system.
yes,
Personally, I think because our wickets in South Africa aren't really conducive for spinners.
yeah,
And the school, and especially because majority of the players coming through the system go to the top schools in South Africa.
yeah,
So because of that, it makes it a little bit harder for guys to on the wickets that we play. It's mainly
yeah,
more for pacers and not for spinners. But then again, it's also about what that child decides to do. Who do they look up to? I mean,
yeah,
are there spinners that they can look up to and say, I want to be X, I want to be Y?
yes, yes,
Shane Warne is too old for a lot of the younger children coming through the system.
yeah,
He's long gone. He's maybe a fading memory for some of the youngsters
yeah,
coming through the system, unless they've been educated by someone that knows cricket, by their parents or
yeah,
whatever the case may be. But there aren't many. Like I mean, even if you look, if you look at like this will prove that there's a issue. Yeah, the Dolphins brought back Iman Tahir.
yeah.
I
46
mean,
years old.
like that's a good sign and that's a that's a place I feel that should be the ones that are producing these type of
Yeah,
spinners, and yet
yeah.
they even struggling to find. Now we
Look,
do
if
have
you,
someone that has been knocking on the door for a while with
yeah,
Western Province, showing his ability, and that's Carl Simmons. Similarly to George,
yes,
he's also, but again, he's a left arm orthodox and he can bat a bit.
yeah,
So we're producing that a lot. Um,
yeah,
the issue is now finding those guys that are maybe now we have Sia Mahimas or that are maybe can give you that little bit of extra stuff. I mean, Imran Manak has been bowling consistently well
yeah.
throughout the
Yeah, you got
domestic seasons over the last couple of
Junaid
years.
Dawood also at the Titans.
Yeah, unfortunately, I thought Junaid Dawood would be the guy. I thought he was going
Yeah,
to be the guy that's going to be the next big thing from a spinning perspective in South African cricket. Others feel maybe that he made the wrong decisions at the wrong time with regards to his playing career. I feel that he went to teams that were most likely not going to play him. Like for example,
yeah,
going to the Lions at the time in his career, I didn't think it was the right move. I thought maybe go to a smaller team that's going to
yeah,
definitely play you in every match. So I mean, it's still time with spinners. I
yeah.
don't think the age thing is a matter of a factor.
Imran Tahir is showing us the age
Yeah.
is not too big. But just to add on to that, with regards to development of a spin bowler, a captain is very important and a coach is very important. Spin bowlers are often going to go for runs, right? Especially if they're looking for wickets in the way that you want a leg spinner to or a wrist spinner to try. We saw Thomas Caber as well, the left arm wrist spinner. I think he played for MI Cape Town for a bit. Um, if I'm not mistaken. But those guys need a right captain who is going to support them and say, look, attack, go for it, finish off. But we find in games nowadays, especially at the lower level, people are so worried about losing that they don't give guys opportunities, man. It's you need to bowl flat, you need to bowl economical, and that's why most slow left armers bowl because they can control the ball better. And they don't go for as much runs. They're generally more economical, which is what I found. So, from a development perspective, I think it's interesting. Let's see how that plays out. But going to the seamers or transitioning to the seamers, you mentioned the likes of Andre Berger, Neil Bartman. I was thinking about Gerald Kutsia as well. There's a lot of guys on the outside who can come in. So, in terms of the bowlers we have, do you think it's time for Andik Nokia? Does he still have a lot to give? And who else are we going to look at to widen this talent pool a bit more, give us more options going forward?
Um, the thing about our bowling attack, our bowlers in general, there's a lot of bowlers I feel that are coming through from a talent perspective, um, and the SA20 has also been exposing that to
Yeah,
for T20 cricket particularly. I'm talking about
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
I
We're
mean,
talking
we've got
specific
we
T20. Yeah,
yeah we've got Otnil Bartman there. I mean that is. that a lot of people felt should have been the guy that got onto the plane over here with regards to that. There's another player that's really impressed me, and that's Kobani Mokoena.
Yeah,
Plays
yeah,
for the
yeah.
Paul
He was
Royals.
good.
He's been really
Yes,
good.
yes. I
So
like
that's a
that. Yeah.
yeah. What?
Yeah, carry on. I can't remember the name now. There was another bowler, Gideon. Was it Gideon
Gideon Peters.
Peters? Yeah, I like his action. I think he is
Yeah.
someone who could be very interesting going forward.
Now, when was this? Probably 4, 5, maybe 5 years. I can't remember which guy Majolo week it was. I think he was one of the first players, one of the few players that I think hit a century and scored, took a five in the same match. I think I'm
Yeah,
I'm not 100% certain. Now, don't mock me,
yeah,
but I remember seeing him back,
yeah,
way back when, um, and he was already good there. I was surprised that he's coming because he went a little bit missing. Like I
yeah,
said
yeah,
before, I felt that COVID COVID did that to a lot of players,
yeah,
because they it like there was it's almost like I compare it to the Marvel blip,
yeah,
I
yeah,
compared it to that because these players were
yeah,
playing, they were brilliant in the Kyle Majola weeks, and then all of a sudden 2 years is erased from your cricket career.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
Bayer Swanepoel is a good example
Yes,
because
he's also really good.
out of nowhere, like then we think, oh, this person came out of nowhere, but no, they had 2 years of when they didn't play, if they didn't
Yeah,
play cricket because of COVID, and then suddenly you see them come through at 23, and then you're like,
yeah,
where did they come from? And then so when cricket returned, it was the next generation already. It was the Brevises, it was the Mapakas, it
yeah,
was all
yeah.
of them coming through again. So George van Heerden, that I feel has a very
Yes,
bright future, George, but others felt that maybe someone needs to believe in him and trust in him and then give him an opportunity. I thought I knocked over my
yeah,
Wi-Fi. But yeah, so with regards to fast bowlers, I'm not that worried about the fast bowling department really.
yeah,
What I want to do say is I forgot to mention in the wrist spinners, Ngaba Peter as well. That's a problem that he's
yes,
not
yes,
that he's not taking the advantages of the opportunities that he's got, and he needs to
yeah,
work with someone. It's unfortunate because the only wrist spinner that can really teach him, or is as an older coach is maybe a Hoja,
yeah,
from a development perspective. But then he must. I think that we need to implement some sort of strategy with Imran to come into the system and help players.
yeah,
Somehow they need to come. South Africa needs to put him in the system if he's available and he's willing to be a part of
yeah,
maybe the high performance academy or something, so that when
yeah.
risk spinners come through the system, let them work with these coaches so that they can develop their game.
Yeah, whatever it
So
is, I think they just need to have a targeted program. That's all that
yeah,
matters. Do it properly, get the expertise in, and support these guys. But I agree with you. I think the bowlers, from a depth perspective, there's a lot of options. It's just, and I think as we move to the batting now, it's what do you want this identity of the team to be? Is this a team that we need Rabada to play in regularly or not? Can we move on from him? Should we move on from him? Should he focus on other formats? What's the feeling there? And then as you transition to the batters, you already made your feelings clear. Quentin Lecoq, his time is done. So then, do you transition this to a younger team? Or what do you see them doing with this unit? Who leads this team going forward? And what does it look like?
Aiden, top of your order, your captain leads the way. Build the team around him. Deva Brevis, I think, needs to be. He's the future of this batting lineup. I think he's the glue to keep this whole top order together. Ryan Rickelton
Yeah,
can open with Aiden. Now that you have a
yeah,
right
yeah,
hander, now that you have a right hander opening the batting again, and he's your captain, you're going to select him every time. I think it's the perfect cog at the top of the order to be able to build a team around because you've got many left armers coming through the system that can play there.
yeah,
You've got Ryan Rickelton, you've got Jordan Herman, you've got there's
yeah,
plenty Luandre Pretorius. These are all players that can come at the top of the order with Aiden Markram. Um,
yes,
so that's these are loads of younger players that I feel you can bring through and test. Because I mean
mm,
both they're my brothers now. I mean there's Ruben and there's Jordan, but Ruben's a little older.
yes,
But I'm more focused on Jordan. because I like
Yeah,
Jordan's
same.
mentality. I like the way Jordan plays. He's a left armer as well, so you can have that right left hand combination. And because we have Luandre is also left, similarly to Kwani, I
Yes.
think it's time for us to implement Luandre top of the order. Three, maybe Jordan. Decide what we're going to do there with three.
Yeah.
Four, have someone like Deerwoud, for example. Five, then I think Tristan must move up the order. So you either put Tristan at
Yeah.
three,
Yeah.
either put Tristan at
Yes.
three, and then Deerwoud at four, and then you rotate your openers along to find the best partner for Aiden.
Yeah. Look, and there's
Um,
form and there's all those things that come into it. So
yeah,
guys will fall in, fall out, but the
yeah,
options are there. What about
and maybe
Brezka? How
maybe it's
does
time we
he
invest in someone
get in
like
the mix?
maybe we invest in someone like Jason. I think Jason is too good of a batter. I think he needs more time at the crease. So five for me. If he's in your World Cup squad, you can't now suddenly just decide no, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna
That
use
happens
him.
from time to time, mate.
Yeah,
It's it's a weird
yeah, it
thing,
does
but
happen. Yeah, but I mean, I think
uh,
play him at five. I mean, let him
yeah,
replace Muller at five. You know, let him try and become that player. He's always had the talent. He just needs that belief.
yeah,
Mainly for Jason is mental.
yeah,
The
yeah,
change in environment at Western Province, take leaving to go to the Dolphins, changed his whole career. He was too
yeah,
distracted here. It was too much for him here. That was distracting
yeah.
him. He was too comfortable here.
Yeah, yeah,
So
100%.
so him 100%. His only own for me, his only thing that's keeping him back is his mental game. And if Coach
Yeah,
Shukri can work on that with him, we have a play on our hands
yeah.
that we can move. We just need to find
So
that finisher. We need to find, and like a
yes, yeah,
proper finish, like a proper finish, not a player that can finish, not a player
yeah,
that has the potential. We need someone that has proven that he can finish, that he
yeah.
can come
And
out to the
that way you need
middle,
to
break
find.
a
I
few
think
balls. And I don't think Donovan's that
Donovan
guy, to be honest.
Ferreira. No, you don't think so. So he
Personally, I
was the
don't.
one that was earmarked for that. So obviously got
Yeah.
injured, so we couldn't see it. Does it work or not? We don't know. But that is probably a gap. Matthew Brietska, what about him? Where does he fit in the mix? Is he in this group?
I'm
Is there
a big fan
potential
of
for him?
Matthew
Is he a
Gretzky.
backup for Markram? Where does he? It's tough.
I'm a big fan
Yeah,
of Gretzky. If Gretzky bats in this team, for me, he's three.
exactly. He
Like
has to.
that's where he bats if he's gonna play in this T20 side. But
Yeah,
I don't want him necessarily in T20 cricket. Don't let I don't want, if
yeah,
I had to advise him, I'd say 50 over. You must be our main batter in the T20 in the 2027 World
yeah,
Cup, and Test
yeah.
cricket. Aim for those two.
Yes,
Play that. Last
yeah,
this T20 game. You can play T20 cricket like in the tournaments and go make your money. It's fine. Go
yeah,
play in the IPL. Go play your SA20s. But for Proteas, don't worry. Don't make that your focus. Make your
yeah,
50 over game your focus. That's what might be my
yeah.
advice to you.
Look, you never know what can happen. You'll see injuries, you'll see form, and some people fall in and out. But there's options, right? Like you mentioned, especially at the top. The biggest concern, I think, going forward, there's two. It's the wrist spinner and it's the finisher, out and out finisher. Is it going to
Yeah.
be a batting all rounder? Is it going to be a bowling all rounder? Who is it going to be that you can put in that can take that last 4 overs and make it count? Because it's probably time for Miller and the Cock to move on. But then you lose two left-handers. Then suddenly your lineup looks very right-handed heavy, especially if you move Stubbs up. You got Brewer, Stubbs, Ferreira, 3, 4, what, 4, 5, 6. Where you squeezing the lefty in, and what does that lefty look like? You know, who's out there that can come in to be that number 7? Is it Jansen who makes that spot his own? I'm going forward. We'll have to wait and see. But it looks like there's options. And my understanding from you is the batting lineup needs to just get a bit younger now, right? Some of the guys have had enough of a run. When you're talking about T20 specifically, it's time to
Specifically.
move on from certain players and give the younger ones or the ones who have been scoring consistently the opportunity to make the spot their own with the view towards the next T20 World Cup, which I think is probably in another 2 years or something. It goes so quickly.
Mhm. Because I mean, it's a perfect time to do it because it's a different story if the two senior players in this team performed, or the
Yeah,
three. I would say three, because KG's in that bracket as well. So,
yeah,
so it's a difference if they performed well, but the rest of the team, well, man. But
yeah,
that's not what happened. So I don't think it's going to harm the team much if you're going to replace those two. Let them build up now, get the experience.
yeah.
I mean,
Agreed.
I like the squad that they're sending to New Zealand. Brilliant
Yes.
squad. I think that's an opportunity to see some of these youngsters, younger guys
Yeah, yeah,
in action,
yeah,
so that we can really see. Because I mean, I'm earmarking a guy like Luandre Pretorius as a future. I know he's
yeah.
not. in the squad for the New Zealand tour, which I don't understand why not. But we're gonna see the likes of Jordan Ehrman. You're gonna see the likes of Kutsia back into the mix again. But we know what he has to
Yeah.
offer. You got Kobani Mokoena in his team, so can he be the
Yeah.
future from a pace bowling perspective? Um, I have a lot of belief in Andile Semalani. I don't know.
Same. I like his game, man.
There's a mental thing there. We're gonna get to see him again, get more opportunities. I just think he needs to have someone tell him, I back you and I believe in you. And then we're gonna get to
Yeah.
see Jason Smith as well. So
Yeah.
there's there's um there's a lot of talent I think that can come in. I mean, Luandre is a proper player.
Yeah.
Luandre
Yeah.
Pretorius is a proper talent.
Yeah.
So that could be the future at the top of the order with Aiden. Jordan also very good, mentally
Yeah.
strong, um, brilliant batter. So yeah, the future looks bright. We just need to make the right decisions, and I trust Coach Shukri to make the right decisions.
Yeah.
For the first time in a long time, do I have full trust in my coach.
Yeah. Yeah, and on that note, I think the way you look at things going forward, it's very simple. There's a lot of good players, and like you're saying, some of them just need that mental aspect of the game to be fine tuned. And it looks like Shukri Khan is the guy who's able to create that environment and create a platform for players to go and show what they can do. And if they can't do it, he's giving them all the tools, he's giving them the support. It's basically now up to them to take the opportunities that they get, because it seems like the environment is set in such a way that it's promoting players and their abilities. So let's hope that as a leadership group, the senior players, whoever they are, going forward, can create a culture in the team where everyone supports everyone, and performances thrive because there's a trust in your teammate, that maybe wasn't there in the past, or whatever the case is. So ultimately, that's all you need: a chance and a belief, and then it's all up to the players. But I didn't think we'd go this long, but as you can see, we're
Sorry.
very passionate about cricket. Nice, never apologize. There's a lot to talk about, and the passion is there, man, which I've really enjoyed. And just to wrap up here, I think also it's been fun to chat cricket with you. So thank you for the opportunity to collaborate with you and Cricket Fanatics. We've had 5 episodes, but it felt like a lot more. And I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed talking cricket with you. It's a lot of fun, and you obviously know your way around the South African landscape when it comes to cricket. So what I would say is, let's see if we can find a way to keep this thing going somehow. Obviously not a weekly thing, but I got some ideas. I'll swing by you. But as we wrap up here, just again, thank you from our side, Sportycast. We loved having you and Cricket Fanatics involved with us. What do you want everyone to know as we end of here? Where can they find you? What do you have coming up? Let us know.
Yeah, so there's a new show that I'm brewing. I'm working on. I'm planning a new style that I'm going to be approaching my shows. You'll still get your previews and your reviews, and they will be at random times because it's dependable on the games. But I'm going to put in place a show that's going to be weekly that you guys will be able to be involved in. I want to be more involved with you guys, get you more on shows there if you want to, because I really enjoy your 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 knowledge on the game and stuff, and talking to you. So you're always welcome. I've always said, now from now on,
Yeah,
the doors open. You guys are always welcome to anytime come on the show and come promote, come talk to me
yeah,
about cricket. We can just discuss it further. We'll probably have some chats behind the scenes about that. But yeah, so that is brewing. We are covering the One Day Cup now. Then obviously New Zealand tour. So there's a lot of content. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel and our newsletter as well, for weekly newsletter.
yeah,
And yeah, to get regular updates on what we are doing, etc. And thank you for
yeah.
having me,
Let's
though.
go.
Thank you for having
No,
me as
no, it
well.
was fun, man. I enjoyed it. I'm glad whoever put us together, you know who you are in the background. Thank you for connecting us. And yeah, it's a lot to be excited about. But that's it from us. And like you mentioned earlier, it's pretty much six and out.